Everybody, we are live.
That's correct.
Okay, thanks everyone. Sorry, we are live right now. So we are going to begin tonight with a public hearing. So at this point, I'd ask the court reporter if we could go on the record. And I will just note for the record, this is a public hearing to take comment concerning a hazardous structure located at 6026 Sign-In Drive, tax parcel 4907000059. So with that, Jim, do you want to get us started?
Yes, if you call, council probably 2 or 3 months ago had updated the demolition ordinance, trying to put in place an aggressive program to make sure that we don't lose houses in the community, but unfortunately there are instances where they deteriorate to the point that they need to be addressed. We have one structure that is located on Sign-In Road that was burned, and that's on the screen up there. We went through the ordinance process, and we have Mr. Job here this evening, the building inspector, to testify on the actions that were taken for notification on this structure.
Okay, Mr. Joe?
Yeah, you're right there, Dave. Be fine.
If you could just identify yourself for the court.
David Job, I'm the building inspector for Murraysville. This property, as you can see, is not a fixer-upper. We posted the property as a hazardous structure on the 1st of December in '21. We sent the letter out to the owner on the same date. Second letter, again, stating it's a hazardous structure, was sent out on the 1st of January, or January 11th, '22.
Mr. Job, were those by registered mail?
Yes, they were.
And did we receive a response?
We did not receive anything registered, and we did not receive anything back as a return letter. We haven't heard anything from the owner. So I posted it for a hearing tonight, and we asked to move forward with a decision whether to issue the violation notices and take them to the magistrate to have it demoed if he doesn't do it within 30 days.
In your opinion, it's a dangerous,
I'm sorry?
in your opinion, it's a dangerous structure, it lacks structural integrity, things
Oh, yes, it's completely, the back wall's completely out of it.
Okay. Jim, Mr. Job, anything else before we go to public comment? Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right, at this time, we would ask for any public comment pertaining to this hazardous structure only. Okay, seeing none, could I have a motion to close the public hearing?
Make a motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay, public hearing is concluded. Thank you. Thank you. All right, with that, we will get into our regular meeting this evening.
Thanks, Dave.
Could I begin with a roll call, please?
Dr. Lee Corns,
Here.
Mr. Spadaro,
Here.
Mr. Stepanovich,
Here.
Mr. Lemak,
Here.
Mr. McKenna,
Here.
Mrs. Ling, Mr. Dice,
Here. All right, please
Mayor
stand.
Sinan.
Ready. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Okay. Mr. Morrison, do we have any unlisted amendments tonight?
Only one, Mr. President. We have an executive session scheduled for legal. I would like to also add personnel to that.
Okay, thank you, sir. That brings us to our consent calendar items. Are there any questions or concerns about the consent calendar items? Okay, hearing none, could I have a motion, please?
I'll make a motion to approve the consent calendar items, the approval of March 2nd, 2022 minutes, the accounts payable, and the cash investments and transfers.
Second the motion.
Thank you, Mac and Carl, and I'll just note that I'm abstaining from any payments to KU Resources. Would all those in favor please say aye?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion passes. That brings us to comments by Mayor Simon. Jim?
Yes, we have the glass recycling pop-up collection event scheduled for this Saturday. Residents are encouraged to also bring along a non-perishable food item with their recyclables. Loaves and Fishes will be there to collect that. On Saturday, March 26th at 10 a.m., the Recreation Department will be sponsoring a hot chocolate hike. This will be a 2 to 3 mile hike through Scouting Knob at MCP. It's a family-friendly hike and it's great for all ages. Joey Gombash Fishing Derby is scheduled for Saturday, April 2nd, 8 to 4 p.m. at Townsend Park Pond. It's for all children up to the age of 15. On Saturday, April 2nd also, or I'm sorry, on Saturday, April 9th at 10 a.m. to 12 p.m., there will be Easter pet photos, free to attend, but please provide a donation to Pet Friends Animal Rescue. Treat bags will be provided by Walker's Pet Hotel, and it will be held at the Westmoreland Heritage Trail Visitor Center down on Route 22. You can contact the Recreation Department for additional details. Backed by popular demand is Egg My Yard, and registrations will close March 31st, so you're encouraged to get online and register. How many did they have, 190, Diane? 190 registrants so far.
Wow.
So this is pretty popular. And then on April 13th from 3:30 to 5:30 p.m., they'll have the Easter drive-through at the Municipal Complex up in the library parking lot. It's free and open to the community. Pre-registration is not required. And then finally, cleanup week is April 25th through April 30th, Pleasant Valley Landfill. Municipality of Murrysville residents may take items to the Valley Landfill on Pleasant Valley Road from 6 a.m. to 3 p.m. through Saturday, April 30th at 7 a.m. to 11 a.m. Passes will be available beginning the week of March 1 through April 29th at the reception desk. Verdell's looking forward to that, right, Verdell? That's it for the mayor's comments.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Morrison. That brings us to comments by the Chief Administrator.
Just two quick notes, Mr. President. One, staff met with Olympus Energy for a pre-application on the Hermes well. I expect that they'll be before Planning Commission in April. And then I attended a grant seminar sponsored by Representative Brooks on Monday that provided information on various grants that are available through the state. And we'll be trying to take advantage of those.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome.
That brings us to community input. Let me see if anyone signed up. For the good of the order, is there anyone who would like to give public comment? All right, seeing none, we will move on to liaison comments and committee reports. Start, Jason?
The library meets tomorrow evening.
Okay, awesome. Carl?
On March 8th, there was a meeting of the Planning Commission. There was a quorum present. The first item was an advisory hearing on Redstone Highlands. The president and CEO, John Dickerson, was there. Their engineer was there. They are now considering 4 26-unit apartment buildings, which was previously 3. They would be 1, 2, or 3-bedroom apartments. If the plan is approved, they will go through a full market study, and they would see construction starting approximately in 2024. And they would expect that it would take anywhere from like 4 to 6 years to have a full occupancy. There's no tax relief requested. They are requesting that the zoning be changed from R2 to R3. The current buildings at Redstone are R3. The main ingress to the facility, the new facility, will be via Klein Hollow. There was discussion of a possible secondary access a full function or emergency, and that could be either through Klein Hollow or possibly Sequoia Court or otherwise. That was that. There was a second issue, which was bicycle storage facility, and that's going to be discussed this evening, so I'll just wait until that occurs. It was approved by Planning Commission to be forwarded to the council. The next meeting is April 12th. The Parks Foundation, Parks and Recreation Foundation will meet next Tuesday, and that's it.
Thank you, Carl. Tony?
Medic 1 meets tomorrow night.
Jamie?
So our pension account is down net about 5.4% year-to-date, and report that near-term risks obviously remain elevated because of the conflict in Ukraine and rising food and energy costs, but that our funds are conservatively allocated, so the downturn has not had as severe of a loss or of an impact as it may otherwise have. We just continue to monitor it in our allocations.
The market's down 20%, so 5%'s not bad. Mac?
Jim pretty much hit everything for the Parks and Recreation, just the Egg My Yard, the drive-through for the Easter Bunny, and we're going to have, obviously, the parks are going to be up and running soon, so we'll have other events to register for. Just make sure they go to the website to register for those. And also a reminder for everyone on the survey for the neighborhood parks to please complete those. We've had a decent response on them as far as we've had a lot of comments on different ones of those, so it's very helpful to try and plan accordingly on what we put into those neighborhood parks.
Awesome. Yeah, I'll definitely respond. Has a good beagle on it. Okay, that brings us to our workshop items. And they're on. That brings us to our council action items. And I have a motion for 13A, please.
I'd like to make a motion to renew the current property, casualty, automobile, and professional liability policies with municipal risk management for the period of April 1st, 2022 to March 31st of 2023 for a total premium of $141,801.
Second.
Thank you, Jamie and Mac.
This is the same coverage that we have right now. None of the lines of coverage have changed. None of the limits have changed. The increase in the premium is mainly due to increase in property values. Last year we had, actually the end of 2020, we had industrial appraisals come in and update all of our property values, because a lot of our items are replacement. And it went up around 3.5%, so that's accounting for the higher property and liability insurance. The public officials and police officials went up $1,000. So overall, we had around a 4% increase. That's really not bad considering our levels of coverage. We didn't have any large losses. We haven't had any traffic signals taken out or like we did in the years prior, which probably helps with our premium increase. Our agent said that normal increases they're seeing are 8 to 10%, so we did pretty well. And with this program, we also will be able to see some dividend come back. Every year, the league evaluates all of their claims versus their losses and their premiums that are paid, and they divvy up an excess amount to all of the providers that didn't have significant losses. So ours for this year will be around $23,000, I think. Okay, it's exactly $23,248. That was close. And this will start April 1st and run to March 31st. The other coverage that isn't included in here is cyber insurance and the fiduciary, because they run in different terms. We kind of picked them up midstream, so they'll be coming for renewal later in the year.
Great. Questions or concerns from council?
Diane, those dividends look to be up considerable compared to previous years.
Right, because the last 2 years, we had 3 or 4 traffic signals. The whole controller boxes, they're roughly $150,000 damaged by vehicles that didn't have insurance. that went against our loss ratio, which dropped our premium, or part of the dividend.
I think part of it was also due to the longevity in the program. Joined,
Yes.
what, 4 years ago, I think, in this particular program. So with the participation year over year, the return increases.
Increases. Yeah, that's great.
We've had this carrier with our workers' comp for, we had it right after we came.
95
So
or
93, maybe we
yeah.
started it, and I would say we've probably, over the years, recouped maybe 70% of our workers' comp insurance through dividends. It's a very nice program.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, any other questions or concerns? All right, hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions?
Thank you.
Thank you, Diane. Okay, that brings us to 13B. Can I have a motion, please?
Motion to consider approving a 5-year contract with Keystone Collections to collect real estate and local taxes, except for earned income taxes, for both the municipality and the Franklin Regional School District.
Second.
Thank you, Carl and Tony. Diane?
Keystone Collections have been our personal income tax collector since 2005. We've had renewed contracts every 5 years. With me leaving, I wanted to just start with a fresh contract. Nothing's changed. None of the terms have changed. The rates haven't even changed. But I thought it would be easier going forward for the administration to manage a new contract than try to pick through all the extensions. So there's nothing different with this. All the rates are the same, the terms are the same. It's just a new term for 5 years.
Okay. Questions or concerns?
And I imagine J.C. thanks you.
I think so.
No?
Okay. Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? All right, motion passes. Thank you. Brings us to 13C. Can I have a motion, please?
I'd like to make a motion to consider approval of resolution number 748-22, establishing reasonable cost of collection for delinquent taxes and imposing the cost of such collection upon the delinquent taxpayer.
Second.
Thank you, Jason and Tony. Diane?
These next two items are actually required because we're doing the new contract with Keystone. These are in place right now also, but the first one allows Keystone Collections to pass on any of the costs of collections, legal, postage, filing fees, to the delinquent tax collector, so the municipality and the school district doesn't have any costs associated with that.
Okay. Questions or concerns? All right, hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? It's unanimous. Thank you. All right, could I have a motion for 13D, please?
I'd like to consider a motion to approval of resolution number 749-22, establishing reasonable attorney's cost of collection for delinquent municipal claims and taxes, and imposing the cost of such collection upon the delinquent taxpayer in accordance with Act 22.
Second.
Act 20.
We'll note it's Act 20. Thank you, Tony and Jason. Diane?
Again, this is required because we're doing a new contract, and this allows the tax collector to pass on any attorney's fees and filing fees to the delinquent taxpayer instead of the municipality paying that.
Question on,
Yeah, no, go ahead, sorry.
so I guess my primary question is, it looks like these rates have not increased since
They're
probably at
set by-
least 2004.
Yeah, they're set by the state.
And I understand that that Keystone itself can kind of self-govern its own rates and know what's reasonable to pass on or what's not. But I feel like attorney rates go up pretty steadily, pretty regularly. And I would be very surprised if some of these like hourly attorney rates in reality haven't gone up. So I'm wondering, is there any safeguard or mechanism in place such that I believe it quotes a rate, for example, of $150 an hour for an attorney fee, but if the attorney comes back and says, we raised our firm's rates, it's $200 an hour now, does that automatically get passed on to the taxpayer? Or is there a mechanism in here for Keystone to say, hold up, that's not the rate that was approved? How does that work?
I will check, but I'm pretty sure that Act 20 sets these rates, and that's all they're allowed to
Assess.
assess,
Okay.
unless Act 20 would be amended to increase fees. But I will verify that tomorrow and get back to you.
I would be curious, just, if that's a sample schedule or the schedule, because it would probably.
No, I think it is the schedule as part of Act 20.
Thank you.
Diane, my question was, as far as the school, like our portion of this and the school district's portion of this, they're totally separate contracts? Or
Yes,
do
they're
we
approving it.
renew them at the same times, or
We
no?
renew them at the same time because they're the same taxpaying district.
Right,
Franklin Regional School District is voting on this same contract.
to renew this,
Their meeting was
yeah.
this week.
I think it was last Monday.
But their new contract with this would start to be on their portion, not on ours. Okay, yep.
The same terms and same collection.
Right.
It's- Obviously, they have a little bit of a different
Right,
collection area.
You're right.
But it's the same terms and everything are the
yeah,
same.
okay, thank you.
Diane, do you have any idea of the total amount that is due in taxes? The delinquent taxes?
What's our big-
Well, real estate gets turned over to the county, roughly around 78,000 went at the end of '21. As far as per capita and local services, I don't know.
Okay.
It's a small percentage.
It is small, I
Very
would think,
small.
because local services is taken out by the employer.
I see.
So those delinquents would only be a self-employed person. And per capita, we've seen an increase in the per capita since we took it off the real estate bill. More people are paying it because it's combined with the school district's bill now. So instead of them paying it in the spring and in the fall, they pay it once with their real estate taxes, and we seem to have seen an increase in that also.
Thank you.
Just as a question, we're a fiscally prudent community. With that, do you have an idea percentage-wise who do not take advantage of the 2% discount in real estate taxes?
Carl, I'd say 80% of our residents pay in the 2%. By the end of April, I have almost 80% of my collections in. There's very few, maybe another, 12%, 15% that pay at face, and the rest pay at penalty or they don't pay. Our collection, our uncollected is around 1.5%, which is pretty good for a community our size.
Yeah.
And the bills just went out. I got my bill 2 weeks ago, I think. And we already have around $500,000 in. And it's only end of the second week of March.
Which represents about 25 or 30%.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions or concerns? All right, hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? All right, motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Diane.
Thanks, Diane.
Brings us to 13E. Can I have a motion, please?
Make a motion to consider approval of a tax appeal settlement for the residential property at 4162 Bulltown Road, identified as tax parcel 49-06-00-0-404, Christopher and Tanya Simchik.
Second?
Mac and Jamie. Jim?
George, jump in if I miss a step here, okay? This is a new structure. The property was assessed based on the building permit issued. The property owner appealed the taxes, and the assessment was reduced to $279,930. Subsequently, Simcheks did not agree with that revised assessment and appealed to Common Police Court. As typical with any property assessment case that is appealed, the municipality and the school district enter in negotiations with the property owner, and after those negotiations, the settlement that was proposed was assessed value of $234,490 for the year 2021 and $220,170 for the 2022 tax year. Typically, and those assessments are based, again, on the common level ratio that we've talked about in the past. I believe the common level ratio for the 2021 taxes was 14.2%, and I believe the 2022 is 12.9.
Okay. Questions or concerns from council? I see a lot of these. Okay. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Thank you, everyone. Brings us to 13F. Can I have a motion, please?
Make a motion to approve ordinance number 1057-22, an ordinance amending ordinance number 1009-19, an ordinance authorizing participation in an intergovernmental police mutual aid agreement for the purpose of responding to police emergencies in authorized jurisdictions. The proposed ordinance would add the city of Greensburg to the list of participating jurisdictions.
Second the motion.
Jamie and Jay?
This was before council at the last meeting to authorize advertising of the ordinance. As you're aware, there's a regional police emergency response made up of, I believe, currently 6 communities. Greensburg was invited to participate and decided to do so. And as a result, we had to amend the intergovernmental cooperation agreement to add them to the regional team.
Okay. Talked about this last meeting. Any new questions, concerns?
No.
Okay. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? All right, motion passes. Thank you, everyone. That brings us to community development, 14A. Can I have a motion, please?
Make a motion to consider approval of a minor site plan, SP-9-21, an addition for an accessory structure for a bicycle security unit, 4491 School Road South, tax parcel 49-14-00-0-158B business zoning.
Second the motion.
Mac and Jason. Jim, is there any introduction or?
No, John is here, the engineer representing the applicant.
Thank you.
Good evening, John Frederick with Civil and Environmental Consultants representing the Sports Zones facility. This is at 4491 School Road South, 6-acre parcel that houses the existing outdoor sports deck hockey, a 2-story accessory building just to the east of that, and then a facility, the enclosed sports arena on the extreme east end of the site. In 2004, just as a history of how this site was developed. In 2004, the original deck hockey site was relocated from Route 22, brought to this facility where we constructed the outdoor rink and the 2-story accessory addition here with about 38 parking spaces for the initial development. And then in 2011, we came back with a site plan revision that included the 25,000 square foot enclosed sports arena, which is the metal building on the far east of the site. And at that time, we provided 110 parking spaces for the full build-out at that time. Recently, actually last fall, we made an application to Murraysville for a bike storage facility, which is a container that is this location here. The idea was brought forth by several members, the athletes that actually play within the Sports Zone facility, with the idea that if they could store bikes on the property, and the owners evaluated different options and found a more or less a repurposed shipping container, which is quite popular in regard to storage units, outdoor venues, even small homes at this point. But this storage unit is available. It's currently sitting in Monroeville, ready for retrofit. At this time, the proposal would be 1 unit shown on the north side of the sports zone at this location here. The size is 8 by 40 and about 8.5 feet high. Again, it's a standard shipping container that would be retrofit with 9 exterior roll-up doors. These doors are about 3 feet wide. The containers would be 8 feet deep. again, for lease by members that play or use the facilities, or families that want to store bikes at this facility and take full advantage of the Westmoreland Heritage Trail that is immediately adjacent to and runs east-west on the north side. So at this location here here's the crossing, and then the Heritage Trail that goes behind the post office, behind Sheets, and behind Nicholas Supply. The sports zone did build an interconnecting walkway from the trail with approvals from Westmoreland County Parks last fall, so that encourages movement and connection from the physical trail itself to the sports facility. So the request is to place this as an accessory structure. We did supply, at the request of planning, a parking analysis that was done, and it mirrors the information that was originally provided in 2004, meeting the original parking count from the relocation of the facility from 22. We did another parking analysis to correlate to the 25,000 square foot sports arena, the enclosed facility, and this mirrored those numbers and estimates that were done. So there was a maximum parking count of 71 parking spaces on a peak weekend, and those counts were in October at the start of the fall season. There was a request then by planning to kind of show what this unit would look like, so we were able to render based on matching the colors of the existing sports zone, which is a tan and maroon. So that is what's shown there. So the vision is that this container would be retrofit, painted, delivered to the site for lease to 9 individuals, 9 families, combination thereof.
Okay. Questions or concerns from Mr. Frederick?
As far as the sports zone deck hockey organization would be then the landlord for these rental slots?
They would purchase this facility and enter and establish some type of agreement or lease policy, but that, yes, they would own this.
Okay, and who could apply to store their bikes there?
There was no limitation at this point from initial discussions. It would be open first to those that came forward with the ideas, and those were actual players or athletes that use this facility on a regular basis.
Okay, and could we have residents from other than Murraysville rent these spaces as well?
I don't know the answer to that. I would assume that whoever would come interested in such, I believe it would be open to that. I don't know what restrictions they may apply to it.
Are these restricted only to bike storage or?
Bicycles only, yes.
Bicycle.
This is primarily to encourage and use the trail that's currently used, because there are the guys, gals that come to the site with their bikes in tow, play the game, maybe have a yoga class, and get on the trail. So it's more or less to encourage, instead of hauling bikes back and forth. And what happens on routine weekends too as well, family may come and park at this location and get on the trail, just like they do throughout the community. It is a very successful, and it's a highlight of, it's a feature in Murraysville, and this accommodates that sports and active recreation use.
To your knowledge, John, is the waiting list already complete, meaning do they have 9 people signed up? Or 9?
I don't think there's a total of 9, but there is interest, and I believe just from discussions that they would fill this to the spring.
Is there anticipation, if this is successful, to add more units to that property or that side, or is there?
That was discussed. We did present a plan in the fall when we made the first application. We showed 3 particular options where this would fit. The question was, are we adding 1 or 3? They decided 1. If we have to come back, if this is successful, then we would ask again, but the request is for 1 unit.
How many bikes do you think would be in the each stall?
Based on
Or
the
is that one
size
bike
and
per
what we
stall?
tried, the city of Pittsburgh has a typical bike storage capacity based on residential development in the city. We use that as a go-by, so it's envisioned that up to 4, I'm sure a family of 4 kids, 2 adults, may be able to fit 6 bicycles in there. But for those that really care for their bikes, I believe 4 would be comfortably fit in these units, per door.
And each one would have an individual lock on
Yes.
each? Yeah.
Yes.
John, the drawing showed some trees between the unit, the proposed unit, shipping unit, and the trail?
Yeah, those are existing. Those were planted as part of the sports arena complex, and they are consistent with the edge of the right-of-way of the Sunoco pipeline.
So it kind of hide the,
Yeah, they would be, they are on the north face. A question that came up last week, the doors right now are envisioned to face the sports arena adjacent to the sidewalk. There's a 6-foot sidewalk that goes along the whole north face and wraps the corner of the building. So the idea would be roll up the doors, pull the bike onto the sidewalk, and then take it to the trail on the pavers that are there now.
okay, I guess my point was it still looks like a shipping container.
No doubt, it does.
So with the trees, would that help hide it from the
The
public
intent
view?
would be to, the color match, so again, it's adjacent to, so the intent is to have it blend into the color scheme that the steel structure is today. So that in the hopes that it's not, an eyesore. I mean, again, the shipping containers are in good condition. They talked about the polymers and the paints that are used. Again, I think just with any paint, it's going to have to be maintained, so many years. But I think in general, the sports zone facility is well maintained if you do visit the complex today.
Thank you.
Has the sports zone come up with a estimated price for one rental?
That has not been shared. I don't know what that would be.
Okay.
And in talking to them, I don't think they're looking at this as a generation of income. This is more to accommodate the request that, hey, can we find somewhere to store bikes on the property? But there would be a nominal fee to cover the cost.
Just curious, I have no problems with this. I'm just curious if they considered the more traditional bicycle racks that people chain their bikes to.
I think they were looking for an enclosed facility, just,
Yeah,
that's
obviously.
the sole reason, yep.
Is there any advertising proposed on this structure?
Signage or no?
Council may want to incorporate that, consider it.
Okay.
Good idea, Jim.
Pardon?
Good idea.
So before we seek to amend the motion, are there any outstanding questions or concerns from council?
Well, just following up, if I understand correctly what Jim just said, is the implication that there should be something stated to say no advertising? I would
Pretty
agree
big
with
structure.
that.
A lot of people go by that every day.
So
Yeah.
presently, there's no conditions on this, so I'm going to propose that we have an amendment to the motion to include the condition that there shall be no advertising in this structure.
Agreed.
Okay, so I think the amendment would be amend the motion on the floor to include the condition that there shall be no advertising on the proposed structure. And if someone just wants to say so moved?
So moved.
Yeah. Second?
Second.
Go with Tony. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay, the motion's amended. Are there any questions before we vote to approve this structure? Okay, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Okay, great, thank you, everyone. Thanks. All right, that brings us to engineering, 15A. Can I have a motion, please?
Make a motion to reduce the bond being held for the completion of the required improvements to the Barrington Heights development in the amount of $216,520.
Thank you, Jamie and Tony. Jim?
This is a normal process as construction nears completion at this particular subdivision. Council recommends it be approved. It has been inspected.
Okay. Questions or concerns from council? All right, hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? All right, it's unanimous, thank you. That brings us to,
16A.
yep, Public Works and Parks, 16A. Can I have a motion, please?
Consider authorization to advertise for bids various road materials, signs, and line painting.
Second.
Carl and Matt. Ms. Bryan?
Good evening, Council. This is our yearly solicit for bids for our materials that we use mostly in public works. The asphalt that we buy to do the patching, the pipe that we use to do our pipe jobs, and of course, the stone we use. We solicit those through a competitive bid. That usually runs from June 1st of the year to May 31st. And we're coming up on May 31st, so we want to put those out.
Obviously, this is just the advertisement, but questions or concerns?
We are also taking a look at the CoStar's cooperative bidding program for the state. We're preparing ourselves for shock.
Can imagine.
Well, we'll have heart attacks when we get there. Okay, no questions or concerns? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Okay, thank you, council. That brings us to 16B. Can I have a motion, please?
Make a motion to consider awarding a contract, DPW 2-22, to provide landscape services for the Administration Building, Community Center, Route 22 medians, and jug handles and streetscape.
Second,
Oh,
Tony.
okay, Mr. Payano?
Yes, this is our contract to do the Route 22, the streetscape, and we have the jug handles. 2 years ago, we had combined this contract into one to kind of condense what we were doing. Probably noteworthy would be that there is a unfunded balance here that'll need a budget amendment. We did have a bid last year that we thought was a little bit low, and when we rebid it this year, we see that it's there's a $7,000 difference of the highest bid from last year.
Okay. Questions or concerns?
There was one bidder?
Yes.
Okay.
We typically only get 1 or 2 bidders on this contract year over year.
Any other questions or concerns before we vote?
No.
Okay, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? All right, motion passes. Thank you, Mr. Payano.
Thank you, council.
Thanks, Bill.
Does anyone have any old business tonight? Hearing none, do we have any new business?
No, sir.
Okay, we have an executive session in regards to litigation and personnel matters. Jim, we don't envision any action coming out of that?
No, sir.
Okay, could I have a motion to adjourn to executive session?
Make a motion to adjourn to executive session.
All those in favor say aye.